Hi, I'm Peter Knight, one of the Bandlinge coaches here at Yarra Bend Golf Course. I'm going to talk about upper body movement today, upper body pivot. And I'm going to introduce two concepts to you because they're the things that tend to get caught a little bit of confusion with the golf swing. The first of them is that your upper body has a pivot point, a central point, and that point is between your shoulder blades. So if I turn my back to you for the moment, when I set myself up, if you imagine a point between my shoulder blades here, when I swing the club back, if I keep that point centered, my upper body appears to move a little bit away from the target. So if I make that same movement facing you, I'll just put that alignment rod down. So if I make that same movement when I'm facing you and keep that point centered, as I go back, there's been a little bit of a drift with my head away from the target, but my upper bodies remain centered. So that's the first thing. I want to keep that point between my shoulder blades fairly central during the swing. If I'm doing that or swinging that way, then clearly it's not staying centered. That's the first concept, so stay centered. The second thing is that I want my shoulders to essentially turn at right angles to my spine. So imagine that the alignment rod represents my shoulders, the club represents my spine, and if I'm standing completely upright and turn to my right, my shoulders turn horizontally. When I tilt forward in a golf shot, for the moment, I'll tilt forward and keep my spine straight, which is actually not what you do in a golf swing, but this is a first step to explaining it. So if I tilt forward, now I turn my spine, and you can see that one side of the rod is higher than the other. Now in a golf swing, if I make that same movement, when I get to here, my right shoulder is going to be higher than my left. But it's just my shoulders turning at right angles to my spine. Here's where it gets a little bit complicated. When I set myself up to play a golf shot, my spine is not vertical at address. It's actually leaning slightly away from the target. And then when I tilt forward at address, my left shoulder is higher than my right. But if I turn back at right angles to my spine, my right shoulder is now higher than my left. When I swing down, because my hips are sliding forward, my spine is changing its angle. So now my shoulders appear to turn differently to what they did in the backswing. It's a bit of an illusion because your shoulders don't actually start twisting all over the place as you go back and through. They're still turning at right angles to my spine. That's a really important point because a lot of players see what's happening during the golf swing. They see the change in the way that the shoulders move from backswing to downswing and think they have to manipulate it. That just ends in tears. As you go back and through, let your shoulders turn at right angles to your spine and keep your spine centered, and you'll find that that movement, while it is a little bit complicated, is going to become much simpler for you. Use a mirror, use your phone or a camera to check that, or have a mate check it. Better still, do some work with your coach and you'll find that that movement is actually going to help you get much better control of the shaft of the club and the direction of your shots.